Hey there, welcome to the Greatest Mixtape Podcast. I'm Eric.
And I am Mac.
And Mac, why don't you kick this one off? It was your idea, and I absolutely love it. So why don't you tell everybody what we're going to talk about today?
Well, I got to thinking about, we record at night.
Yes.
Typically we're a couple of vampires. We record late at night.
Sure.
And we thought, hey, let's record on a Sunday. Let's do this over the weekend. Let's record on a Sunday morning. And it got me thinking about Sunday morning songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those songs that just kind of get you sort of reflecting on things, but at the same time get you re-energized. So Sunday's a day of rest, but it's also a day to get refocused and get excited about what's next.
And in my house, we have a bit of a Sunday ritual where, we'll get up. Chris is a tea drinker. I make my coffee. We maybe make some breakfast. We have some music playing while we're doing that. It's funny for me. Sunday mornings, I stay away from the metal. I stay away from the really loud stuff. And I don't know what it is about Sunday morning, but there's just something that it's just more fun for me when we've got music playing. It's sing-along stuff. We always have a blast just playing songs. I kind of thought of it like old friends. You know what I mean? It's like, I just want to hear familiar stuff that I can sing. I can't sing to save my life, but I will try when I'm in the privacy of my own house. I will sing my ass off terribly. And so those are the songs that we want to hear when we're like making breakfast or brunch or, having a good time on a Sunday morning.
Right. It's a vibe, right? It's a Sunday morning vibe. It's got a real feel to it about, you're waking up, like you said, you're making breakfast, you're having some coffee. Yeah, you know what? I don't want to hear anything loud and aggressive right now. I want to hear, like you said, old friends, songs that take me back, songs that make me look forward.
Reminisce or remind you of good times. Or
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good time.
Let's jump into this. We both brought, we love our lists. We both brought a couple lists to go over. Who wants to go first here? You want to jump in or you want me to?
Why don't you take it away? Again, your idea, you kick us off.
Let's do it, man. I'm going to start with Tumbling Dice by the Rolling Stones.
Hell yeah.
What a song from the 1972 album Exile on Main Street. But for me, that intro, right? You have that great guitar riff from Keith, the drums kick in, mixed vocals, then followed by those backup vocals.
Yes.
It just lift the song. Those backup vocals just lift that song.
Absolutely.
And it's just, it's got such a feel to it, that song. It's so bluesy and laid back. Great lyrics about just, you've got to roll me and call me the tumbling dice. The life of a rock star. I'm always on the move. I'm not going to stick around.
Right.
So just so much fun and just a really bluesy kind of sleazy feel to it.
Yeah. That's a great. I mean, that album is amazing anyway, but that's a particularly standout track for me.
Yeah, it just makes you think about life. Like we're all just kind of tumbling dice.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But obviously the song is nothing without the band, the Rolling Stones, of course.
Of course.
But we need to take some time to appreciate those backup singers.
Oh, my God.
Who provide so much to that song. 3 women, Clyde King, Vanetta Fields, and Shirley Matthews. Without them, that song is not what it is.
No, 100%.
Such a feel to it. Just a beautiful, beautiful song. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here, Eric. Let's see what you got.
Mac, do you want to just, for the hell of it, take a guess who my first artist is going to be?
Let's see here. I'm going to go out on a limb. And
okay.
There's a fella out of Minneapolis. I'm gonna go with Prince.
Love me some Prince, and so of course Prince gets played a lot in my house any time of day, but especially on a Sunday morning. And it was hard to narrow it down because he's got so many amazing songs. But there was just one that stood out for me when I was making this list that I just absolutely love. Again, because I can't sing, but I do enjoy trying to sing this one. And the song's called Musicology. Oh my God, such an amazing tune, man. And this blew my mind too when I was, putting my notes together for the show. It's from 2004. That was Prince's 28th studio album.
It's crazy.
28 studio album.
Crazy.
So, it's the same name. It's Musicology is the name of the album. It's number 3 on the Billboard 200. It was a bit of a comeback in a commercial sense. A lot of the stuff he was putting out prior to that was just indulging his own whims and what he wanted to do musically. And sometimes it jibed with what was going on on the radio, and sometimes it didn't. In this particular case, I mean, this album won him 2 Grammys and just, kind of put his name back out there in front of people that might have been like, oh man, I haven't heard Prince in a while. As diehard fans, he never went anywhere. But when it came to, the commercial attention, he wasn't really there for a little while. So kind of a comeback for him. By January 2005, the album went double platinum. So again, big seller for him. And the song is just so much goddamn fun, dude.
So funky.
It's so funky. It's intentionally in the style of like James Brown. It's just, guitar, bass, drums, super groovy. And it's also a tip of the hat to his musical heroes. I mean, he shouts out, Sly and the Family Stone, James Brown, Earth, Wind and Fire. And he even said about the record, he just wanted it to be like a music lesson for people. And I just thought that was really cool. So, it's not just about shouting out the names, but also, wearing those influences on his sleeve and putting them out there like, hey, this is what I grew up on. This is what I love. This is what made me the artist I am today. And that's what that album was. But man, Musicology, just standout track, just a blast.
And that whole album is incredible.
It's phenomenal. It's a really great record.
When I saw you had that on your list, I was so happy because that's an album that we used to listen to all the time, especially on Sunday mornings. Like, just put it on, and just enjoy life. Like, that album is great.
Yeah, start to finish, just absolutely killed.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's my Prince song for the day.
There we go. Got it in.
Got it out of the way early. Now we can talk about other stuff. What you got next, man?
All right, I'm gonna go take a little journey, a little far away from Prince. Talk about "Sunday Morning Coming Down" by Johnny Cash.
Yes, sir. Man in Black.
Yes. Johnny's version of the song, which was written by Chris Christopherson in 1969. Johnny recorded it live in 1970 for the Johnny Cash Show, and it also appeared on his 1972 album titled Sunday Morning Coming Down. Now, let me preface this with, I've been sober for, over 10 years.
It's amazing. Good for you, dude.
But I remember what a hangover feels like. And this song captures it just perfectly.
Yeah.
The opening lyrics, well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert.
Oh, that's some poetry, man.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
And this, and there's this beautiful string arrangement behind Johnny. The music is so beautiful. It's so well done. But the song, like I said, perfectly captures what it feels like to be hungover on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And kind of feeling like you're wasting the day.
Yeah.
So it's a little solemn, but there's also sort of this hopeful message about, get your ass out of bed and enjoy what you can.
There you go.
Of the day. So I've just always been a fan of that song. Like I said, even though I don't drink anymore, I still listen to that song, and it's just it's so well done. It's so beautiful, and then just, of course, it's Johnny. He's the Man in Black. You gotta love him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I also have been a big fan of that song for the same reasons. I haven't given up yet. I'm still trying with the drinking, but occasionally I do feel that way on a Sunday. Those mornings, the music's a little quieter while we're making breakfast, but I still get up and do it, man. I still get up and do it. So, but yeah, great pick, dude.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
All right. Well, I am going to talk about a band that is so far from Johnny Cash. The song is called Ma and Pa. It's by a group called Fishbone. Mm-hmm. And they came on my radar. Actually, this is the first song that I ever heard from them. It was from their 1988 album, Truth and Soul. And for those of you who don't know Fishbone or not familiar with their music, they are a mix of pretty much everything. I mean, ska, funk, reggae, rock and roll, metal, punk. I mean, they literally threw all of those genres of music into a blender and just created their own thing. You go back to some of their older stuff, and it's a little more like the ska reggae kind of thing. By the time Truth and Soul came out, they had really injected like a bit of the rock and the metal into their sound. And my God, it's like, to me, and I love the Chili Peppers, so no disrespect when I say this, but this is like, they were like the Chili Peppers on steroids. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They were just so soulful and funky and crazy and just absolutely amazing. So check out Fishbone if you're not familiar with them. Ma and Pa is just still to this day, it's just such an amazing song. And the song it was the second single off of that album. The first single was actually a cover of Curtis Mayfield's Freddie's Dead, which if you've never heard that, it's they kind of rock it up and funk it up a little bit more. And then they followed it up with Ma and Pa. And basically the song is about a dysfunctional family. It's sung from the perspective of the older brother. and he's singing to his younger sister who's having a hard time dealing, with the family strife and the breakup and the pending divorce. And he's just kind of singing to her. And then in the chorus, he's kind of singing to his parents like, hey, figure this shit out, And it's a little bit dark, I guess, in that respect, because it is, about a family falling apart. But what's crazy is they juxtapose that story and that message with the most upbeat, fun sound. Like that song, if you didn't pay attention to what the lyrics are about, it sounds so happy. You can't help but bop your head when you're listening to it and smile. And then you start really listening to the lyrics and you're like, hey, Ma and Pa, what the hell is wrong with y'all? And it's kind of a dark message, but with a fun, funky, upbeat, bouncy delivery. It's really, really cool.
Like you said, just a big fan of Fishbone, but my introduction to Fishbone was in the movie Back to the Beach.
Whoa.
Yes.
Holy shit. Dude, I haven't even thought of that movie in a million years or even remembered that Fishbone was part of that.
Yeah. For those of you who don't, Back to the Beach was like this silly beach movie with like Annette Funicello.
Yeah.
And sometime in the 80s it came out. It was just ridiculously goofy, but there was a scene in there where Fishbone was in the movie performing a song, and that's how I got to know Fishbone.
Holy shit, dude. I honestly wouldn't have remembered that in a million years. That's amazing.
But yeah, Pee Wee Herman was in the movie. He did Surfing Bird.
Oh my God, dude. Damn. That is quite the flashback. Holy shit.
Yeah. And it just came back to me, like, right. I didn't plan on that. Like, I didn't have that in my notes. That just came to me as you were talking.
Back to the Beach. Wow. Yeah, honestly, I didn't even remember they were in there. God damn. Now I'm going to have to put that on my my Amazon watch list or something. Yeah, I remember it was just cheesy as hell, but it was like purposely cheesy as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
They were kind of spoofing on their own, stardom, because that's where they came from, those beach blanket bingo type movies from the 50s and 60s, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny. Back to the Beach. That's a good one, man. Well, again, if you're not familiar with Fishbone, please do yourself a favor and go check them out. They're just freaking awesome. And they're still out there today, man. Still doing it.
All right, dude. Great stuff, man. I love
Thanks,
Fishbone.
man. Thanks. Yeah, me too.
I'm going to stay in sort of that alternative area.
Gotcha.
From the 90s. I'm going to go with A Small Victory by Faith No More.
Great choice.
What a great song.
Can't go wrong with any Faith No More, but that's a particularly good one, yeah.
Yeah, that's great for a Sunday.
For sure.
From the 1992 album Angel Dust, vocalist Mike Patton, was just kind of talking about the lyrics, what it's about, growing up always wanting to win and learning that you can't win all the time. And so the song is about the small victories. It doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world. It can be something small that you're able to do every day or overcome or accomplish. So that's what the song's about. So then, it's just a great Sunday song. You just think about the little things, man. I don't need to be the world champ. I just got to do these little things right.
That's cool, man.
But of course, the song features Mike Patton's just insane vocal range.
Yeah, he's amazing.
It's so much fun to sing along to. The chorus, great melodic guitar riff. And, maybe if you think Faith No More, if you're not a big fan and think it's, everything that they put out was just crazy and, no, listen to this song.
Yeah.
Listen to the lyrics, listen to what it's about, and it's a beautiful song.
I am going to say that Angel Dust is my favorite Faith No More record, by the way.
Yeah.
The Real Thing was amazing. That was the one that put him on the map. But yeah, man, Angel Dust. Oh God, the songwriting is just on another level. And
I know.
Yeah. Midlife Crisis is on that. Oh,
Yeah.
Such an amazing track.
So great.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go back a little earlier. I'm going to go back to 1970, a little band called The Doors, perhaps. Peace Frog, man.
Yes.
That is such a groovy, funky, just upbeat song. I've always loved that groove, even before I knew anything about them. I remember hearing the song when I was very young and just loved the music. I didn't know anything about The Doors. I didn't know anything about Morrison. I just remembered that song and just being so much fun and so bouncy. And it was from the 1970 album Morrison Hotel, which there's a fun story that goes along with the album cover. You've seen the album cover, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's called the Morrison Hotel. and they are in the window behind, the name Morrison Hotel is painted on the glass, and they're behind the window looking out at the photographer. And that was all just coincidental. They had seen this place and they're like, oh my God, we need to, use this for an album cover. The owner of the hotel wanted no part of it. He didn't want to let them shoot that. So somehow they were able to distract the owner. And while he was busy, they literally ran into the building and got behind the window, and the photographer's outside, bang, takes the shot, boom, they're out of there before they knew anything even happened. And that's where the album cover came from. Is I love stories like that, man.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah. But the song was actually written by the band without Morrison. They recorded the track, and he just didn't have any words for it or anything yet. So he just kind of was like, oh, we'll record the song and I'll do my thing. And he ended up going through some of his journals, and he was constantly writing poetry and journals and things like that. And he strung together 3 poems and, phrased it to go along with the song, and it's just absolutely brilliant. And one of the things I love about the song too is that there's some anecdotal stories in there, and he actually references my home state of Connecticut. There was an incident where he was arrested in New Haven for inciting a riot. There were some other charges in there as well, but it's inciting a riot. And so he references it in the song. He says there's blood
in the streets in the town of New Haven,
and he's referencing that incident. So I don't know, just kind of a cool, fun song. The music, like I said, it's super groovy and fun, and it's just a good one to just kind of bounce around to,
And I know the Doors are one of those bands that people either love or hate.
Yeah.
But even if you're not the biggest Doors fan, and you just give Peace Frog a chance, because it's just so cool and fun and funky.
It is. And again, like I said, I remember that before I even knew anything else about them. And I am one that I love the Doors. I instantly, once I got a little older and started really delving into music, I've loved them ever since. But yeah, that one's particularly great and fun.
Yeah.
If there's a fun Doors song, to me, it's that one.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm going to stay back in that era. I'm going to go 1 year earlier. I'm going back to 1969. Everyday People, Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Man, what a jam.
Love Sly.
From their 1969 album, Stand, a song about peace and equality. It's just the butcher, the banker, the drummer, and then makes no difference what group I'm in. I'm everyday people.
Yeah.
It's just a great message, and especially, again, you're sitting on a Sunday morning, maybe you're sitting out on the porch, you're having a coffee, and, that song kicks in, and you just, hey, man, everything's okay. We're all the same, different strokes for different folks, man.
Yep.
It's just, it's such a unifying song. I just love it. It just makes me feel good about life.
Yeah. And again, another song that I think people need a little more of that attitude these days,
Yeah, for sure.
Not to get heavy, but
But
it's true.
We have more in common than we don't. I grew up listening to that. I still have the Greatest Hits album that my dad had.
Oh, that's so
Sly and
cool.
the Family Stone, and so I grew up listening to that song.
Yeah.
And it's still to this day something that I go back to over and over again, because it sets a mood. It just makes you feel good. It makes you, happy.
I love that you got some cool ass vinyl from your dad. Like my parents, I went in their attic one time and I was like, oh man, I bet there's some old records up here. You know what I actually scored? The Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. My mom loved that soundtrack back in the 70s. And then she also has I have now, but the Bee Gees' Greatest Hits on vinyl. Oh, and the fold out, it's a trifold, and each panel, when you unfold it, is this like glamour shot of each member of the Bee Gees. It's fucking fantastic, dude.
Just hair, beards and shit.
Chest hair, medallions.
Fucking yes.
Gold medallions and fucking windblown Beyonce hair. Like, it's so fucking cool. Man, I should just hang that. Soft lighting, yes. I should hang that up in my studio here, man. That's a fucking winner, I'm telling you. All right, we are going to head to 1976, New York City, band called the Ramones.
Oh, I've heard of that.
You might have. I realized I made the mistake that everybody in the world makes. We all do it. Here I am on our music podcast, and I called them the Ramones. Oh. They're not the Ramones. It's Ramones. There's no the. Everybody does it. But the song is called The Blitzkrieg Bop. And it's such an awesome, awesome song. And again, the sing-along aspect to it. It's the first single from their 1976 debut album, Ramones. fun fact, written by the drummer, Tommy Ramone. Yeah, and got a little bit of help from the bassist, Dee Dee Ramone, who changed the name. He loved the song, and actually gets a writing credit, I believe, for changing it from Animal Bop to Blitzkrieg Bop. For whatever reason,
Yeah.
I don't know the story behind why and how he came up with Blitzkrieg for that.
Yep.
But he loved the song, basically didn't change any lyrics. It was just like, you should call it Blitzkrieg Bop instead of Animal Bop. And thank God he did, because it's just such an amazing song. Lyrically, it's just really, it's about their fans. So New York City in that era, you know, the punk rock scene was blowing up. You know, CBGB's was packed every weekend. You know, what was the other big punk club? Was it Max's Kansas City?
Max's Kansas City.
Yep. So, you know, they're playing places like that, and this is their first album and their first single. They're singing about their fans, which is fucking cool, man. Like,
yeah, dude.
so, you know, the line, they're forming in a straight line. They're going through a tight wind. The kids are losing their minds. The Blitzkrieg Bop.
Yep.
And it's literally about the kids filing into the shows, you know, and just having a good time and the energy. And man, I was born too late. I would have loved to have lived during that. You know what I mean?
God.
Being able to experience, I mean, I've seen the Ramones, you've seen the Ramones, like, but you know, to have been around and in New York during those days and seeing, you know, Blondie, the Talking Heads, Ramones, all of those New York City bands that were playing those clubs, and oh my God, it must have been so fucking cool.
What I no, I can't imagine, you know, because you know, we've read the books, we've, you know, learned the history, and you hear people tell those stories, and you're like, God damn, that would have been great.
I know, and I never get sick of those stories either, man.
And you mentioned the two of us are lucky enough to have seen the Ramones.
Yes,
granted, later in their career, but at least, you know, we saw them, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, before the band even comes on, what's the crowd chanting?
Oh, hey ho, let's go! Yeah,
let's go! And it's just. Yeah, it's just when you're standing in the crowd and you're doing it and you're waiting for them to come on stage and you're chanting, hey, oh,
yeah,
let's go. The energy was just insane. It was so much fun seeing the Ramones. It was great, man.
Yeah, the first time I ever crowd surfed was at a Ramones show. And I didn't crack my head open.
Attaboy, attaboy.
I got lucky, man. I could have easily just been tossed on the ground. As a matter of fact, my buddy that I was with, John, I did it, and then he wanted to do it. So there was this big dude next to us. I'm like, oh, you know, send him up. So he just picks John up and just throws him, and the people behind us just moved, and he went like a sack of potatoes, just boom on the floor. And he got him. He's like, ah! I mean, he was all excited anyway. Like, but oh god, those were the days, man. That was so much fun.
I'm gonna stay in the punk space here.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with "Waiting Room" by Fugazi.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I love this song. It's so great. 1989 album, 13 songs. Also appeared on their 1988 debut EP. But basically, it's a song about being patient. You know, waiting for the right people in your life, the right moment in your life. And it starts with that just killer opening bass line. You know, guitar kicks in, and then boom, stop. Like for a few seconds, and then it comes back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I am a patient boy. I wait. My time is water down a drain. You know, and it's just about, again, just, you don't got to do everything right now. Like, everybody's moving, you know, but you don't wait for the right time to do your thing.
Right on.
So it's just, on top of just being a great beat, great fun song, I love the music, but I love to just hear those lyrics, man. You know, even though it has nothing to do with it, anytime I'm at a doctor's office and I'm stuck in the waiting room, what song's going through my head?
Yeah.
Right?
For
I'm
sure.
sitting there like, I am a patient boy. But yeah, again, Sunday morning, you put that song on. Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, that definitely goes well with coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good one. I was going to say this earlier. I love that, you know, we talk about our idea for each podcast ahead of time. We discuss, you know, the topic, and then we go our separate ways, and we kind of do our own research, and we come back together and all that. But it's just funny how, like, in this moment, you're really like focusing on the lyrics today.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I'm more just like, I don't really care what the lyrics are, but you know, if it's interesting, I'll talk about it, but I'm more like into the groove of the song, or you know what I mean? I'm more focused on emotionally what it's doing to me versus what the lyrics are saying. I just think it's cool how, you know, we have the same topic in front of us and yet we're just approaching it two slightly different ways. But it's
that's
cool.
Awesome,
it's
man.
cool.
Yeah. I would get really very, very reflective on a Sunday morning.
All right, well, I'm going to stay in the 70s. 1975, band dropped an album called Mothership Connection, and it's Parliament, Give Up the Funk, and then Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. I love Parliament anyway. They're another one of those. You can't go wrong. Just throw on anything by Parliament, but there's a couple standouts that are just so freaking good, and that's just one for me, man. I absolutely love that song. Fun fact, I'm coming with the fun facts today, Mac.
Hit me.
The album lists the track as Give Up the Funk, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. Mm-hmm. When it was released as a single, the track was titled Tear the Roof Off the Sucker, Give Up the Funk. So I don't know why One Too Many Bong Hits said it. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know, yeah.
But they decided when they released it as a single just to flip the format of the title. So if you have it on the album, it's Give Up the Funk, Tear the Roof Off the Sucker. If you have the single, it's Tear the Roof Off the Sucker, Give Up the Funk.
Yeah, it feels like a very Parliament thing to do, though.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
George Clinton, he doesn't need a reason to do things. He just does them.
Right, exactly.
Parliament, one of the more heavily sampled bands in hip hop, especially the early days of like the West Coast, gangster rap, like when Dre was putting out The Chronic, there's so much Parliament on that record, man. So much Parliament. Trivia for you.
Yes.
Do you know, Mac, who is the most heavily sampled artist in music history?
Well, since we're talking about him, I'm going to say Parliament.
That's a fine guess. It's a fine guess.
Oh.
But it's not correct. So actually, Parliament themselves, Parliament, you have Parliament, and then you have Funkadelic, which were two bands that George Clinton started. Parliament was a little more obscure. Funkadelic was a little more rock, but I mean, a lot of that stuff could be interchangeable. And then he kind of in later years, he kind of squashed them together. It became Parliament and Funkadelic. But Parliament has actually been sampled 956 times. Funkadelic was sampled 1,243 times on hip hop records. So if you put them together, George Clinton has been sampled 2,199 times. James Brown has been sampled 9,455 times. How insane is that?
Wow.
James Brown, the drum loops, man.
The funky drummer.
Yes. Oh my God. How many songs has that alone been in?
Right.
A gazillion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, dude.
So fun stuff for you there. But yeah, that blew my mind because I really thought Parliament, that's a lot. Come on, be honest, 2,000, almost 2,200 times between Parliament and Funkadelic. That's a lot, but holy shit, James Brown, 9,000, almost 9,500 times. It's nuts.
Let's jump up into the 90s. We're going to go to 1995. And the song is Army of Me by Bjork.
Ah, man, I love that track. I love
that
Bjork
song,
anyway,
man.
but that's a great fucking song.
But yeah, it's a sort of, program beats, killer synth, plus her just soaring vocals.
She's amazing.
She's an incredible singer.
Yes.
But the song's got just a fun groove to it that you just kind of put it on and you're moving around the house and you're kind of moving to that groove.
Yeah.
But yeah, Army of Me, strong lyrics about, standing up and regaining control of your life.
Yeah.
Again, on Sunday, you're thinking about stuff, right? What's next? What am I doing? Am I going to a job I hate or am I going to make a change? What am I going to do?
Yeah.
So it's just a great song to have on a Sunday morning.
And you mentioned that groove, man. I just love how right out of the gate, it jumps right into the groove and just rides it through the whole song. Right. It's just, and it just never lets go you.
Right.
You know?
It never, you just ride that wave through the whole song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Bjork. She's so cool, man.
Yeah. Super talented. God love her.
Yeah. It's funny. That one I would not get away with in my house. Unfortunately, my wife is not a fan. Oh. Bjork is, you gotta admit, she's one of those artists, like you had mentioned the Doors earlier. There's there's diehard Doors fans and then there's the people who just can't stand them. You don't generally meet people that are in between. Bjork is also like that. Just her vocal style. She's an amazing singer, but she does have a style that can be off-putting to some people. And my wife happens to be one of those people. So we don't have a shared love of Bjork. So Bjork is more like car music for me when I'm in my Jeep by myself. But, you take what you can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do agree on enough music that, our house is still fun. But yeah, Bjork is amazing. I love her. So speaking of a band that, I can't say we both love, but she tolerates. I'm going to talk about the Misfits for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. This one was maybe a little more predictable for me, but the reason I love this one, it's called Where Eagles Dare. And the reason it has such a special place in my heart, and I may have told the story before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but for my birthday many moons ago, Chris took me to Riot Fest in Chicago, and it was the first reunion of the Misfits with Glenn Danzig and Jerry Only and Doyle Wolfgang on Frankenstein. And I gave her a playlist of Misfits songs. I picked out, some of the key stuff that, you're going to hear at this concert. So here you go. And when they played Where Eagles Dare, everybody is screaming the chorus, I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. Yeah. And I look over at my cute, adorable little wife, and she's fist in the air singing, I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. And it was one of my proudest moments. Yep. And that song just will now forever, it means even more to me now because I just love that. So that is definitely one in my house that we can put on and both sing along and enjoy. She might not like all the Misfit stuff, but that's a good one. It's a fun song anyway.
Yes.
But yeah, when your wife, who doesn't usually listen to that kind of music, is belting out the chorus, that's pretty cool.
I'm so glad we got to the explanation because I saw this on your list in advance and I'm like, man, I need to hear the story behind this.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Love the Misfits,
stuff.
Man. That's
so good.
Yeah. So good, dude. All right, I'm going to jump into the world of hip hop right now.
Nice. Love it. Yeah, we haven't really had any hip hop yet, have we?
A little bit of old school, Eric. We're going back.
How far are we going back?
We're going way back. We're going back to 1989, the album 3 Feet High and Rising.
Oh, dude.
Talking about De La Soul.
Yeah.
And the song is Me, Myself, and I.
Amazing.
Just a fun, mellow jam. Eric over a Funkadelic sample.
Yes.
Yes. But just great lyrics about just being yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Just being you.
Yep.
But just delivered in, De La had their own sort of just style. The way they presented themselves, the way they dressed, the way they rapped. The samples that they used. It was just chill, but it was smart. And their lyrics meant something. So I love that song. It's just a great song to just listen to and think and enjoy. Just can't beat it.
I absolutely love that track, man. I'm and it's funny that you picked that one too, because I'm currently obsessed with De La Soul. I was able to get 3 Feet High and Rising on vinyl recently, and it's just constantly on my turntable. That record is so freaking amazing, man. Oh my God. And yeah, you talk about their imagery and their style, and they were kind of the anti NWA. You know what I mean? They were like the opposite of all of that stuff. They were singing about just peace and everybody respect each other and just cool and have a good time. And there wasn't the and I'm no disrespect to NWA or any of that. I love that stuff too, but they were doing just kind of the opposite thing. It was kind of positive and uplifting without being corny and cheesy.
Right.
Yep.
It's just funky. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, mirror, mirror on the wall, tell me, mirror, what is wrong? Can it be my De La clothes or is it just my De La soul? What I do ain't make-believe. People say I sit and try, but when it comes to being De La, it's just me, myself, and I.
Just awesome lyrics, man.
Yeah, it's great, man. They're just, I love De La Soul, always have.
Yeah. And such a great groove, too. Prince Paul was, producing that stuff. A Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest is on the record. He makes a couple of appearances. I think they were super tight with those guys too. And man, just God, De La Soul, just so good, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, if you get a chance, grab that. It's on Amazon. Get it on a colored vinyl too. It's yellow.
Oh, I just got it. It just arrived.
Did you really? Oh, sweet,
yeah.
Sweet. I'm so happy.
Yellow vinyl.
I got the yellow one too.
Yep.
I guess there's a magenta one out there too, but yeah, I got the yellow. It's so sweet. All right, well, I am going to talk about a group that is not at all like De La Soul, but in our greatest mixtape podcast universe, it's all good, right?
Yeah, who cares?
Queen, man. What Sunday morning would be complete without Queen? Come on.
Oh my God, what a band.
Oh, dude, again, another one of those artists, just, throw a dart at a list of their songs and you're gonna hit a winner because they've never done anything bad as far as I'm concerned. But I went with one that's a little bit, it's not one of the bigger hits. It's certainly one that after they released this song in 1976, it was a staple at all their live shows all the way through. And when they do reunion stuff, or they did the thing with Paul Rogers on vocals, and they did that tour. I mean, this song is always, always, always in their set list, and it's Tie Your Mother Down.
That riff, dude, that riff.
That opening guitar riff. Of course, the song was written by guitarist Brian May, so he had a tendency to write a little more of the rockier stuff, the sort of guitar-heavy stuff. Freddie Mercury was a little more esoteric, and he liked to write, crazy stuff with string arrangements and stuff like that, and lots of piano. And I think they balanced each other so well. Everybody in that band was top-notch musicians. Oh my God. So that's why they were able to pull off anything, any style that they felt like writing in, they could do it and do it better than anybody. But yeah, this is one that's a little more of a rocker. It's from their 1976 album, A Day at the Races. Also features Somebody to Love, Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy. Really eclectic album. It's not just your standard rock album. They kind of veer in different directions, which is really cool. Track to track, the vibe can change, but it's still Queen.
Yeah.
The album was actually released as a companion to its predecessor, which was A Night at the Opera, which I didn't realize this until I was doing research for the show. Those are both named after Marx Brothers films. I never made that connection before.
Nope. Did not
A Night at the Opera. Next album is The Day at the Races, and yeah, they were both from the Marx Brothers movies. I was like, that's genius, man. I never thought of that.
That's great, man.
Yeah, that's something that that's what makes doing what we do so much fun for me. That we're pretty knowledgeable when it comes to music. That's why we started this podcast and everything. I'm still learning stuff every time we do an episode, and we have to do a little research. I'm learning stuff still. It's just such a huge world out there, and there's so many facts and things that I didn't know, and stories and all these things that we uncover as we do this research. It's just so much fun, you know?
Right. Like you learn about somebody who wrote a song, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Or that's a cover?
I was just going to say that. Yes. You learn that, oh my God, this song I've loved for years is a cover. I never knew that.
Right.
Yeah. Things like that are amazing. Yeah, well, like I said, man, they played this song literally every concert they ever played after it was released. They always included this in their set list. And they actually performed the song at the 1992 Freddie Mercury Memorial Concert. Do you remember who came out on stage and performed it with him?
Oh, my goodness.
I'm putting you on the spot today, man.
Yeah, no, I don't. I can't recall.
It was Slash came out.
Oh.
Yep. And also on vocals, Joe Elliott from Def Leppard.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
That was a great concert, man. 1992, yeah. They, after Freddie had passed, they had a memorial concert for him, and just he was beloved in the music industry. So, everybody came out for that concert. It was amazing. And then over the years, Brian May and drummer Roger Taylor have joined Foo Fighters on stage, because they play that song a lot as well too. And I don't know if they're going to continue that sort of tradition, because the late Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for Foo Fighters, would always come out front and sing the song. And, Roger Taylor would sit in on drums. And so, yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen anymore, because it was kind of his thing. But, man, that I've never seen them live do it with Brian May or Roger Taylor. But, man, that would be a bucket list for me.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool. But, yeah, great song, man.
I can't say enough about Queen, dude. I love Queen.
I know. They're kind of like Prince. Like, they're always going to come up because we just both love them so much.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, man, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I didn't get it early on.
Right.
Like I knew Bohemian Rhapsody from when I was a kid, and maybe one or two other songs, but I don't know, for whatever reason, it took me a minute. And then I don't know whether I just matured or what, but like, I just remember one day going, oh my God, like, I think somebody just bought me a Queen CD or a tape and was like, no, just listen, you know? And so I was like, all right, man, you bought me this. I'm going to, I'll give it a fair shake. And just instantly was like, what the fuck have I been doing? Like, I can't believe, and I've been hooked ever since.
Oh, I know. It's like you said, like, yeah, of course Another One Bites the Dust. We all knew that growing up.
Yeah. That's another one. Sure.
But it wasn't until like later in life where something happened where there was the greatest hits album on sale or some shit, right? And I'll get it. And then, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, same, man. Literally changed my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments, those holy shit moments that you just never forget,
All right, dude. Let's take a trip up north. Let's go to Canada.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to go with, one of the greatest bands ever. If you don't know, you need to know. I'm talking about the Tragically Hip.
I knew they were going to be on your list, man. I knew it.
This was the hardest part, was narrowing down to one song from the Hip who I was going to take.
Sure.
And I'm going to go with, from the 1999 album Phantom Power, the song is Bob Cajun. It's such a just beautiful song, a beautiful melodic guitar riff and bass line. The song is named after a city in Ontario called Bob Cajun. A lot of different sort of potential meanings in the song. Gord Downey, the lead singer and lyricist, was a bit of an enigma, in his songwriting.
Yeah.
But there's, some stories in there about a cop, working an overnight shift kind of a thing. It's kind of the one common thread through there. But all I can say is that first verse is some of the most beautiful songwriting I've ever heard. And it perfectly describes a Sunday morning.
All
And
right.
I'll just give you a little taste here.
Cool.
I left your house this morning about 9:15. Could have been the Willie Nelson, could have been the wine. When I left your house this morning, it was a little after 9. It was in Bob Cajun. I saw the constellations reveal themselves one star at a time.
Wow.
Fucking beautiful songwriting.
That's amazing.
Oh, and it's just, the whole song is so touching. That's, that just the way it was put together. Like I said, that song touches me. Like,
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, it's really just an interesting piece of storytelling, and at the end, Gord Downey, the lead singer, he's playing this role, the lead role in the video, and he comes home and his wife, meets him at the door, opens the door for him and just gives him a hug, and she's singing into his ear, he's singing into her ear. It's just beautiful. It's so well done. Just a great song. And just, if there's a Sunday morning song that you don't know that we've been talking about tonight, go look up this one and go check it out.
I need to put that on my playlist now too.
It's just beautiful.
That's a great song.
I love the Hip, man.
Yeah. I've always been so jealous of people who have that ability to write lyrics like that, man.
Yeah.
I've tried. I just don't have that. Like, whatever it is, man. I've tried to write, lyrics in my past and, in various bands or whatnot. And they just always, it's terrible. I'm just not good at it. Know, I don't know. I've never even shown any of them to anybody. They always just end up burned. I think I don't even tear them up because somebody might tape them back together. I actually light them on fire. That's what they deserve.
There can be no evidence that this ever happened.
That's right. So I put down my pen a long time ago and said, nope, that's not for me. So like you said, that song touches you. When I hear a song that can, make me emotional, you know what I mean? It's easy. I think it's easier, I should say, for an artist to get you pumped up and like, you want to, I always say like throw a chair through a window. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's easy. Because the music itself can do that. It doesn't even have to be the lyrics,
Right.
But when a song can take, you to a place where, maybe it makes you tear up a little bit, or maybe it just makes you so overjoyed with happiness, or something that makes you, hopeful and can, pull you out of a depression or things like that. That's otherworldly, man. It's just, it blows my mind that people have that ability.
Yeah. And that's why we love music so much. Like, I've said this before, like, it's not that we like music. We have a relationship with music.
Yeah, for sure. There's not a lot of things that can evoke that kind of emotion with me.
Right.
With the exception of the ASPCA commercials with
Sarah McLachlan?
Yeah, Sarah McLachlan, thank you. The Arms of the Angels commercials. I can't, I'll start bawling like a fucking 10-year-old with a skin knee. Yeah.
I knew where you were going though, so I'm right there with you.
Thank you for I blanked on Sarah McLachlan, dude. That was a great assist. I appreciate that. All right, well, I'm going to stick with my fun stuff over here. Nothing deep about this at all, just fun from start to finish. And it's Sure Shot from the Beastie Boys.
Yes.
One of their best songs. Again, they're another artist for me, and I know you as well. That, like I said, you could throw a dart at their track list, and you're going to hit a winner because they're all just amazing. But I've just always loved that song in particular. And on a Sunday morning, cooking breakfast and just bouncing around the kitchen, having a great time, that one just fits. You know what I mean?
God,
and it's sing-songy enough where you can sing along and have fun with it. And it's got one of the most killer samples I've ever heard in my life. That flute intro, man. Oh, it's so sweet. The second it starts, I just get amped, dude, because it's just so much fun. It's actually a jazz flautist, if I'm saying that correctly. Flautist. His name is Jeremy Steig, and the song is Howlin' for Judy. And I have never actually heard the song, and now that I know that, I'm going to go do some digging and see if I can find it.
Yeah,
because it's always fun to hear, the original version when you hear a hook or a sample that you really love. It's fun to hear it in its original state.
Yeah.
So I definitely got to go find that one. But and of course the iconic. Ah, yes, indeed, it's fun time.
Yeah.
After the second verse.
Yep.
It's actually from a comedy record by an artist who's a stand-up comic by the name of Moms Mabley. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that it was MCA in like maybe some kind of like vocal effect on his voice or something, because it was a little bit raspy, and I just was like, oh, that's got to be MCA, right? No, it's actually, if you go on YouTube and put in Beastie Boys, Ah, yes, indeed, it's fun time, you'll find somebody, they actually show the record and that they put it on their turntable and they drop the needle, and the album starts with the MC. I guess it's a live recording, and the MC is like, ah, yes, indeed, it's fun time, ladies and gentlemen. And he goes on to introduce the show. And then you hear it and it doesn't quite sound right. So the guy grabs the pitch on his turntable and slows it down and pitches it down, and then he replays it, and it's perfect, dude. You just instantly, it's like, ah, yes, indeed, it's fun time. It's so mind-blowing and so cool. I love that shit, man. We need to do an episode on samples.
Yeah.
And do that, like do a little history and find out where they're from and actually play the originals. It'd be so much fun.
Oh my God. Because like you said, like, and the story behind it, like how did the Beasties find that?
Exactly, dude.
And like hear it and go, oh yeah, that's
yeah, we got to put that on a track.
That's going on a track.
Like what? Yeah, I don't know how people find these things, man. It's amazing.
That's incredible. But like you said, man, that flute intro, and then you can't, you won't, you don't stop.
You don't stop.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Great
Mike
song.
D, come and rock the shore shot. Everything the Beasties ever did was just a blast, man.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorites. One of my biggest musical regrets. I never got to see the Beasties.
Same. Same.
It breaks my heart.
Top of my list of biggest musical regrets. Like,
yep, bummer.
This is a bummer.
But we have a lot of music. Thank you to the Beastie Boys.
Yes,
left us
absolutely.
with so much wonderful music. I'll never get sick of it.
Nope.
All right, what you got, man?
All right, I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to finish up with the Beatles.
Nice. Finish strong.
From the 1969 Abbey Road album. The track is Here Comes the Sun.
Nice.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Written and sung by George Harrison. Written when George was going through some shit. He's going through some dark times. It's kind of a song about rebirth, coming out of the darkness, coming out of the cold, and everything's going to be okay. Just beautifully arranged, gorgeous guitar work, and of course George's unmistakable vocals.
Yeah.
But if you need a song that's going to elevate you and get you out of, if you're in a funk, if there's there's some anxiety, some stress, and you want to feel like things are going to be okay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
This is the song right here. And you play that on a Sunday morning when you're just contemplating life and drinking that coffee. You get a few minutes to yourself, baby, in the house before everybody else gets up.
Yep.
And this is the song you listen to right here. Everything's going to be okay.
That's absolutely 100% true, man.
Yeah.
It's a very uplifting song.
Yes.
You can't be in a bad mood after listening to that. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
Studies have been done, and it's not possible. I'm just making shit up now. But
there was a triple blind study.
That's right.
Yeah.
Harvard, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a great choice, man.
Yeah, phenomenal songwriter. And again, it's, I'm sure everybody knows the song, but give it a chance, again, and just sit, maybe close your eyes, just listen to it.
Yeah.
It's going to do something for you.
Yeah, it's a great track. Yeah, Beatles, man. Anything. Really. But for a Sunday morning, that song is particularly
That's the track right there.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Nice choice, man. Well, I am going to end my side of this conversation with the most obscure song that I could pick for this today.
Let's do it.
I am oddly obsessed with this band. I loved them back in the early 90s when they came out. Unfortunately, only put out 2 albums. and then just broke up. The band is called Jellyfish, and they were just one of the coolest bands, man. The early 90s were wild, and we've talked about this before, how there was so much going on in music and art, and a lot of it was coming together, and it was kind of like a license for bands to just do whatever they wanted. You know what I mean? You had bands like the Chili Peppers coming out, and Jane's Addiction, and, you know, all these wacky, you know, images and wacky sounds and melding of influences. And the 90s were like the wild, wild west for music, man. It was really cool. And their debut record came out in 1990. It was called Belly Button. And it was just so weird. But I don't mean weird like you hear it and go, what the fuck is this? It's not weird like that. It was, again, a blending of styles. But I always thought of them as if Queen and Cheap Trick had a baby, it would be Jellyfish. And then you sprinkle in like some late 60s, early 70s aesthetic. They all looked very like, you know, late 60s, you know, bell bottoms and wacky colors and purples and greens. And they just had this really fun, funky vibe about them aesthetically. And their songwriting is just so amazing. And again, it's very, you know, when they're a little bit leaning into it, they're a little Cheap Trick, but then they would have these harmonies and these really cool, you know, orchestral parts that were very reminiscent of Queen. Just an amazing, amazing band. And then, yeah, in 1993, they put out the album Spilt Milk. And it actually, I just realized I haven't said the name of the song yet, but it's called Joining a Fan Club. It was one of their bigger songs off the record. I don't even think it was released as a single, but it caught on. Lyrically, it's literally about like being a kid and discovering this new band and just becoming obsessed with them. And then you join the fan club with your friends. And then by the end of the song, they're like, you know, I'm picking up a falling star. It's like they realize like, oh, these are just people too. And it's about idol worship and things like that. But I don't want to get too deep into the lyrics because it's not really about the lyrics for me. It was just, it's the mood that the song creates. Yep. And it's just so pretty and so fun. And again, it's one of those kind of boppy songs. And yeah, check out Jellyfish. They're just one of the, they're one of the best bands you've never heard. You know, that's how I describe them to people. I'm like, you've never heard Jellyfish? Oh my God, do yourself a favor. They're absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
And you're turning me on to them just through the last few days, like sharing notes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I'm not that familiar. Like I got to dive into this band a little bit more.
Yeah, they were awesome. And again, it breaks my heart that they only put out 2 albums, but they're both fantastic records. But yeah, super, super cool band.
Wow. That's great, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Do the deep dive. It's worth it.
Awesome,
Yeah,
bro.
Man. Yeah, man. Well, that was fun, dude.
That was great, man. I'm perfect. It's Sunday morning. I'm in the great mood. Like I got the vibe going. This is perfect.
Hell yeah. I need a second cup of coffee. Other than that, I'm feeling it too.
That's the first thing I'm doing when we're done recording.
Same, bro. Same. Oh, man.
Well, cool. Let's finish up this episode with some shout outs.
Hell yeah.
We got some new listeners coming in. Here we go. Ciudad Juarez, Mexico.
Awesome.
Here, I'm going to destroy this.
My favorite. I love it.
I'm going to do my best. I apologize in advance. La Seine-sur-Mer, France.
I'm giving you the thumbs up on that one, dude.
Okay.
Well done.
All
well
right.
done.
I'll take it.
I mean, it could be wrong, but it sounded great to me. My uneducated ass. I don't know.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. Powder Springs, Georgia. Honolulu, Hawaii. Morristown, New Jersey. Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Harlingen, Texas. Abilene, Texas, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Lawndale, California, Pasadena, California. So thanks to everybody who's coming on board and enjoying the podcast.
Hell yeah. Appreciate it, everybody.
And if you get a chance, anyone who does enjoy it, please rate us, review us, subscribe to us. All that really helps us out immensely. Check us out on the socials. We are on Instagram and YouTube. YouTube is just been so much fun lately. So many great comments coming in from people checking out our videos and some of the different things, especially our last episode dedicated to the hair metal bands of the 80s.
Yeah. A lot of Rat fans out there.
A lot of Rat fans. I didn't see that coming, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Rat was fantastic.
Yeah, we love it. Keep it coming.
Hell yeah.
But that's it. That's what we got for you.
As always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really, really appreciate it. We will talk to you again soon. It's the Greatest Mixtape Podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm Mac.
And we will talk to you soon.
Yeah.